Burn Box, Embers, Book 1. Written by Bobby Adair. Narrated by Phil Thron. I ran a hand through my hair. The snow wasn't wet. It left a greasy smear on my fingers. I sniffed it, then recoiled. It smelled like my neighbor had burned his pork on a dirty grill smeared with last week's fish. It was then I realized the flakes falling from the sky weren't snow at all. They were ash. Another incinerator roared. I spotted the glow of its propane jets illuminating the rooftops a mile east. When it cut, I heard another one, fainter, much farther away. That one burned for a good long while, 70, maybe 90 seconds, turning a triple-size somebody into a puff of glowing cinders. We'd never had an incinerator truck in the southwest suburbs, and now 3 burn boxes were out at the end of the workday, rooting out a disease that wasn't even supposed to be here. Unless a new bug was going around. Already. 4 pandemics so far this year, and it wasn't yet November. 5 would tie the record. The rumor net had it we'd hit 6 by Christmas. Could that really happen? A touch of fear triggered a habit to reach up and squeeze my nose, feeling for the nasal ultraviolet emitter tubes in each of my nostrils. I flipped my hand to see 2 purple rings of UV light glowing on my palm. My nasal UV tubes were functioning just like they were supposed to, killing any microbe I happened to breathe in through them. I finished the ritual I'd practiced 1,000 times by inhaling and exhaling through my nose, mouth closed, just as was my habit when outside my home. All of that because the world had too many jerk-off gene jackers skulking in their mommies' basements, spinning up novel pathogens and rolling 2,000 years of modern civilization back into oblivion. Or wherever we were all headed. A whooshing blast startled me away from my patio rail. A cone of yellow and blue flame jetted above the roofs of the townhouses across the street. Flecks of red ash rocketed into the air, 100, maybe 200 feet up, as they dimmed into a mushroom-shaped cloud spreading beneath the overcast sky. The roar cut. The flames disappeared. Suddenly. Much too suddenly. I guessed 20, maybe 30 seconds, but more like 20. That could only mean one thing. The burn box had just smoked a kid. One from the neighborhood. Probably one of the 3 brothers who used to stop me to pet my yellow Labrador mutt, Jasper, when I walked him in the afternoons. Those free-range delinquents were always riding their bikes between the parked cars like they were playing Ninja Frogger against the commuters coming home from work. I didn't know their names, but the other dog walkers in the hood called them Future Failure, Big Head Ned, and that fucking naked kid. Long story. When they were petting Jasper, they seemed like normally adjusted little humans. When they weren't, well, they were just annoying brats with bad parents. Now, one of them was a puff of ash floating over the neighborhood. I realized then that the propane flame should have made me angry for what it meant had just happened. But it didn't. An infected kid had died. The virus police disposed of the body in the most efficient, sanitary way they could. Our townhouse complex lost 1 more resident, 1 more added to a list of at least 100. So far. I'd passed through the terror phase of it, then the anger phase long, long ago. Now I'd hit the most dangerous phase of all, the complacent one. The dead were just numbers. Numbers so big they didn't mean anything anymore. Burn Box, Embers, Book 1. Written by Bobby Adair. Narrated by Phil Thron.